Hey guys, a lot of you sent this to me. Let me know that there's a trailer for the 2021 Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, The Last Mercenary. And I watched it. I'm pretty excited. So, as far as I know, this is the third film he's doing with a French director. And I think he's going to be 3 for 3. So, he did JCVD, of course, between 2000 and 2009. And then 2010 and 2019, he did The Bouncer. And now 2020. Hopefully, he'll work with the French director before 2030, another one. But I would say the last two great movies over the last 20 years by French directors, JCVD and The Bouncer. So my hopes are kind of high on this one. And as far as the title goes, The Last Mercenary, they do this kind of title with a lot of movies. They had like The Last Starfighter, Last Action Hero, The Last Samurai, even Vin Diesel with The Last Witch Hunter. So this time it's Van Damme's turn in The Last Mercenary. The synopsis on IMDb says, a mysterious former Secret Service agent must urgently return to France when his estranged son is falsely accused of arms and drug trafficking by the government, following a blunder by an overzealous bureaucrat in a mafia operation. So I think the last time we seen him in France was probably in Maximum Risk.
Gotta hurt! It's gotta hurt!
I'm not sure if that's the only time we've seen him in France. I can't think of another time. But I always thought France was like a cool setting in that movie, so I'm glad they're doing this in that film too. Judging by the action in the Last Mercenary trailer, I think he's going to be in for more hurt. It looks like they've also shot it in the Ukraine, which a lot of straight-to-video movies are shot in the Ukraine because I guess it's really cheap to make movies, but the atmosphere just looks really bland, right? Not to say anything negative about the country, but people don't really want a vacation there. It doesn't seem like the most exciting place to visit, unlike France. You know, movies kind of like take you to different places, and I'm glad we get to go to France with Jean-Claude Van Damme in this one. Now, it's listed as an action comedy, and Van Damme even says, The Last Mercenary is an incredibly exciting project and allows me to take on a new genre. So Van Damme kind of did dip his toe in the action comedy genre in the late 90s. He had Double Team with Dennis Rodman.
Oops, airball.
And of course, Knockoff with Rob Schneider, who's a comedian. So it's kind of like a buddy action movie. Really weird, though.
Come on! Move that big beautiful ass of yours! Hey! What you doing?
Really bizarre with Chow Hark directing. I did a video about that if you want to check it out. It's just, those two movies kind of bombed and they weren't that funny. But here's the thing with The Last Mercenary. So this whole film is in French, and I always think somebody in general is going to be funnier in their native language. I mean, Van Damme speaks English fine, but I just think anybody's always going to be funnier and come across better in their own native language. Now, that part doesn't really matter with physical comedy, of course, because that transcends language for obvious reasons, but I think Van Damme's got something here. I like a lot of the different looks he's got. He's playing, he's having a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of Double Team, where he had different looks in that movie as well. Really bright and colorful movie. This kind of looks the same. So let's just kind of break down this trailer and analyze it. Oh, the director, by the way, David Charhan. Looks like the last film he worked on was a comedy from 2016, also a French film. It's not a movie I ever heard of. All the co-stars I never heard of, but I don't watch a lot of French films, so you know, if you're in a French cinema, you've probably actually heard of some of these people. Now, Van Damme also said, I've always been a fan of Jean-Paul Belmondo, and I hope to take up the torch of action comedy in my own way. David Charhan's script brings all these elements together in a very successful way, a beautiful story with emotion, a lot of action, and a lot of humor. I'm also very happy to work alongside a new generation of talent. So when you're talking about a beautiful story with emotion, this obviously would tie into his estranged son that he gets to reconnect with because he actually has to save him. So there's probably like an element of like, you know, heartfelt emotion in this film, which is nice. It kind of brings it to like a higher level if you can actually feel something more than just, you know, having fun with the action or laughing at the comedy. If you kind of have like more of a human element, that's going to make the film more memorable, and this might actually have that. All right, so if we look at the trailer. Starts off with a man with a sack over his head, so obviously a hostage. It's probably his son. It could be Van Damme trying to escape something, but it's probably his son.
On a reçu un fax qui envoie un fax avec un code vue de 25 ans.
Un type parti depuis 25 ans. Une légende. Le mercenaire le plus réputé au monde. Expert en pilotage, en armement.
So they actually set up the character, you know, obviously he's an expert driver, he's an expert shooter, he's an expert fighter. And I like seeing Van Damme doing some of his martial arts right now.
Insaisissable. Ou son surnom.
Okay, so this is a cool shot. This reminds me of Cyborg. That's such an iconic shot. People still talk about that all the time, by the way. I even had someone reference that in an Instagram post I made. The dude said, when you do a split in a sewer and stab a guy that walks under you, then I'll be impressed. Which I replied, so would I. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, by the way, Real Viking Samurai. I don't have many followers because I'm not doing it like Van Damme in a sewer, but, you know, I got other pictures like this in the gym in a much safer environment. That's one of the most memorable scenes. It's kind of cool that they have it in here. But the way he's, like, sitting up here kind of more reminds me of that GoDaddy commercial when he was playing with the maracas. Because he's, like, basically holding himself up with the legs, whereas in Cyborg, he's basically got his feet and legs sitting on each ledge. So it's a lot more comfortable.
I don't see how you can get comfortable like that.
Oh, I'll get comfortable.
Anyway, they do bring up the badassness of Cyborg here, but the way the sitting is like, it seems a little off, so it's almost like there's a comedic element to it.
La Brume.
So he looks tough and grizzled. I actually really like him with the beard. He barely ever has facial hair. I thought he looked really good in The Quest, though, when they ditched him on Mutai Island and, you know, he basically didn't have a razor, I guess.
Le dossier de ton fils.
Yeah, so basically they set that up, and then he's back with the agency. Your son's file as you requested. So, you know, that could be his son he just saved, or that's just setting up the character basically saving somebody else, because they do allude to that in the trailer, how he
Comme tu me l'as demandé.
does save other
Attention,
people.
t'as beau passer ton temps à sauver les enfants des autres, là, c'est le tien.
On va où?
Monte. Je suis content de rencontrer.
See, and just a different look his character has. See, right here you see him clean shaven with a mustache. Just a very... He's undercover. He obviously looks like a pushover, just a pencil pusher. So, you know, it's better for him to look like that, just to blend in everyday life. And I would assume, since it referenced that he's a great driver, he would probably commandeer the vehicle at some point.
Tu veux pas mourir? Qu'est-ce que je te dis?
Yeah, see,
L'acheteur,
he's already taking control of the steering wheel, even though he's in the passenger seat.
c'est le mec qui utilise l'entité d'archi.
Oui.
Faut qu'on retrouve cet imposteur pour que je puisse être blanchi. Et s'il te trouve...
Yeah, so the son knows he just basically got put in a situation. He needs to clear his name. Luckily, he's got Jean-Claude Van Damme to help. And then this line right here, if they find you, they'll kill you. So it just kind of like lets you know like how risky this is, the kind of danger the kid is in. You always need high stakes in a movie.
Le constat il est simple, vous n'étiez pas là.
Il y a une règle.
So the fact that they set this in summer, like summer's known for like the big action movies, and based on the trailer, this is probably the closest we'll see Van Damme back in the theaters as far as like what I consider a real movie with real production values. Netflix, they spend a lot of money on their content, like, so it's not going to look like one of those cheap DTV movies. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. We got like a real budget. This looks like a real production here. And it seems like they have a lot of faith in it because they want to put out in the summer. They're not going to dump it like in January or February where they, you know, a lot of studios will put out their movies that they don't think are going to be any good. So this is definitely encouraging sign of confidence. And the line right here, agents have a rule, no attachments, kind of reminds me of Robert De Niro in the movie Heat when he had that speech, the whole talk with Al Pacino is basically living this kind of lifestyle. You can't have any attachments. It's just going to cause issues down the line.
Guy told me one time, don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner.
J'ai des agents, jamais d'attache. Parce qu'on parle de la sûreté de la France. Et frère.
Yeah, see, now when they're talking about France's national security on the line, like, so the stakes get way bigger than just his son and his son's life on the line. This is, like, way bigger. So in this scene here, we have to reactivate the network. This tells me that basically he's probably not going to be a... I mean, even though he's the last mercenary, he's going to have like a team working with him.
Le réseau.
Qui c'est qui me souffle dans le cou là? C'est pas marrant, hein?
See, so even in situations with all the action going, obviously you have to have like the comedic element with this dude right there with those weird, like old people driving glasses, what I call them. But the funny thing is, like, every time you pass an old person wearing like that visor thing, it's almost like that you still think they can't see anything the way they're driving. I mean, they don't act like it. Oh, this scene here, this is cool. So this is iconic of Bloodsport, right? When he kicks Bolo behind him. Great flexibility. So he does an axe kick. I don't think we've really seen Van Damme do axe kicks before, even though he's got that great flexibility in, you know, like the American split style and the hamstrings and stuff. But I don't really think we've seen him do many axe kicks in films. I can't even think of one. I just remember that iconic kick and blow a little from behind. And when I seen that as a kid, I was like, man, that's incredible flexibility. So he's still got it in his 60s, so he's doing the axe kick. Even his son's impressed, calling it Terminator style.
Oh mon Terminator.
My man! Vous voulez jouer? On va jouer.
Well, see, Van Damme's busting out the dance moves. Maybe he'll give us a cool, like, kickboxing-like scene. Let's see, over here he's got the long wig on, so it's just another funny look.
En musique!
If you see the setting here, by the way... Yeah, if you see the setting here, by the way, where they got this... I'm sure you've seen those. It tells you basically how hard you hit that bag, whether you punch it or kick it. I'm hoping Van Damme will basically kick it, and then the score, it'll be like Rocky IV, where it just goes like off the charts, right? Whatever he hits, he destroys. I hope they do something fun like that.
En musique! Eh ben là, je suis en trottinette et ensuite...
Okay, so the guys, that's got to be an ode to Al Pacino and Scarface, right?
La vie, c'est comme une opération. Tu fais de ton mieux avec ce que tu as.
Vrai reconnaissent vrai, gros.
I'm actually really excited about this. You know, the action looks good. It looks like it'll be funny. It looks like it's actually going to be a little deeper, reconnecting with the son for that emotional part. The cast looks good. Now, the fact that it's all in French, like, that doesn't bug me at all. Like, I don't mind if it's in the subtitles or anything. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But in general, anytime he works with a French director like JCVD, like The Bouncer, he just puts out good work. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe just working with somebody in the native language helps. But at the same time, I guess all these movies did come out later in his career, even though JCVD's almost like, what, 15 years now? So he's obviously just a better actor as he's gotten older. It's nice to actually see a movie with real production values again. And I really hope he does more with Netflix. So, you know, he did that Jean-Claude Van Johnson show with Amazon Prime. And that was pretty good, though. They didn't pick it up for another season. I'm not really sure why, because I'm pretty sure it got pretty good viewership. It got good ratings overall. I don't know why they never picked it up, but he had a good little run in the first season. And, well, that reminds me, that was kind of action comedy as well. So when Van Damme says he's an exciting project, allows me to take on a new genre, like, that's not entirely true, because, like I mentioned, in Knockoff and Double Team, he did go that route, and then, you know, obviously in Jean-Claude Van Johnson. So this probably by far will be like his legitimately funniest movie. I don't doubt that at all. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'll cover this movie when it actually comes out and can watch the whole thing, but I'm pretty damn excited.